Hey everybody, it's your pal Drew Geraci, back for another fun-filled fact issue, something like that. Today I'm discussing Howard the Duck because I'd forgotten that Michael Golden had done several issues of the magazine specifically. And Howard the Duck, I got the first issue because Spider-Man was on the cover. I'm sure that got everybody to buy that issue. I don't know why, because Spider-Man just sort of shows up at the end, but Steve Gerber's writing was so different, so bizarre, because you had the Roy Thomases, Steve Engleharts, and other really good writers, but they sort of had their own batch of cliches that you could mix them up with Daredevil, Iron Man, all that stuff. Well, they were their own editors, and they had to get the books out, so it wasn't a lot of checking on, whatever. So I'm losing my mind here. I actually bought first issue. Howard the Duck #1 had Spider-Man on the cover, which was caught my eye, and I didn't have anything else on the stands that interested me. Took it home, read it, and it was so weird, and the absurdist angle was so different to me, especially for a Marvel comic. That was like the Marvel age of grit teeth, as Fred Hembeck once said about the 70s. And it was just so... It was also rooted in reality to where you cared about this character. He wasn't just a goofy-looking, character that was, from any cartoons. And he had this real snarky attitude. Even as a little guy, he could hold his own, or he had the attitude that he could take care of anything. Anyway, parental advisory. Oh, look out, everybody! The book lasted 31 issues. Excuse me. I started buying it with issue 6 or 7 because I heard that #1, it was on the national news like less than a month after it came out. It was being sold for $10 each, and I had traded mine with a friend, and I don't even know what the comic was, and so I didn't have it anymore. And somehow I told my dad about that or whatever. He gave me shit about it, and I get it, But it was just, it's a fun anecdote, and he was a great guy, and I miss him. So, I like Howard the Duck so much, I have the omnibus from years ago, and I also bought these trades. Anytime I would go out of state and go to a comic shop that didn't really have that much good stuff, whether it was back issues or trades, I'd buy one of these. Because they're always good to thumb through, very enjoyable. You can read, my point is, good cover. Michael Golden's work on Howard the Duck, something a lot of people may not be aware of. Anyway, this book lasted 31 issues. They canceled it. They moved it over to a black and white magazine format, which, they could add this sort of stuff to, where it had nudity and other stuff like that, because there was a Star-Lord Marvel or Bizarre Adventures, I think it was, where Carmen Infantino did the art, written by, don't matter. But what's so funny is his one companion named Ship, because it's a ship an actual ship that has female personality to, and she turned into a woman somehow, part of her aspect. And in the middle of battle, her top gets shredded off. So it's kind of weird seeing classic artists like Carmen Infantino drawing naked boobies. So a lot of those had that kind of stuff. And also the Conan, the Barbarian magazine had a lot of that kind of stuff. And it was pretty good. And what's weird? The stuff wasn't even like hidden behind the rack. I could just see it thumbing through it as a preteen. So, but I was more into superheroes. And here we go. I'm going to start with something that's going to blow your mind. Actually, not this one. Okay, nice cover there. That's the very first issue, and I bought that because it was the first issue. Now, some real odd shit's going down. This is Michael Golden, inked by Klaus Janson. I love both a lot, but it is the oddest marriage. I just can't figure it out. Klaus had inked Colin previously, who had done most of the books, and Klaus did a lot of wash effects, and there's a golden face right there. I don't know if this ran concurrently with Micronauts or after. Yeah, that's a giveaway there. That's Michael Golden, even if you hadn't seen the credits. And, it's a very, I kind of wished, I don't know. I don't think it's a good pairing. And it's nothing against Klaus Janson, because you've heard me, extol the virtues of Klaus and how I've loved him on everything, pretty much. Okay, here's some more. So I'm fudging around here. Spring. I like that. And, Howard's such a fun character, too, because he's this little guy who doesn't take shit from anybody. I was leaning towards superheroes, but, so I only bought Howard the Duck for the so-called investment, because the first issue sold so well. And then I found it, despite my leanings of superhero stuff, I found myself really enjoying Howard the Duck. However, Steve Gerber, co-creator with Val Mayerick, Steve had left because he was working. He had a rights dispute with Marvel, and I can't remember if they let him go or if he just left. And he worked over at DC, I think, and he also did animation. He worked in animation where the real money is. And also, after the last couple issues of the color comic of Howard the Duck, Bill Mantlo took over the writing chores till the end of the Black and White series, which is about 7 issues. Now, I think Bill Mantlo was the only true heir apparent to Stan Lee, because the other writers, even Roy Thomas, they got extraneous and way self-indulgent. And Bill Mantlo, he sounded like he would do fill-in issues, tons of fill-in issues, and he always figured out the voices of these characters. They weren't cookie cutters. And so that is an odd experiment. But, okay, I'll come back to this in a little while. And why? Because hey, were you going to rush or something? So, there's a nice black screen here. Now, I got this one back. John Buscema. And I think Dave Simons inked them on this. But we're talking about Golden right now. And I read most of this. It just didn't grab me as much. Now, this is pretty wild. Kind of Mooka a little bit, her hair turning into that sort of shape. That's by Michael Golden, and that might be why it became a magazine, because it was like bestiality or something like that. But that's the only pure Golden we see. He comes in and he's inked, and the colors are also the gray washes are by Bob McLeod, who I just love his stuff. There we go. And he did quite a bit of airbrushing, and this is way before Photoshop. This is like the end of the 70s, and where there's some dead space, Bob would do airbrush there, and it's really interesting. I think it's a better fit than Janson, but it's still a bit. Look at that, so great. But I've drained a duck. So there she goes. That would probably be allowed by the comics code, just as long as she didn't turn around. There's Blade, all this stuff. But they're fun stories in a sense, but Bill was trying too hard to be Steve Gerber. And like I said, Gerber had that voice in his writing that nobody else did. Nobody. And Bill was good at picking up books. There we go. I love that. The Next Morning. Very ornate stuff. I mean, Golden's doing really great stuff. Some of the stuff I really like. It doesn't retract because the lines, the ink lines, are still there, and that's crucial for me. I mean, my dumb hang-up is with modern comics is that they obliterate the line work and make everything turn into color, and it's kind of if the good people like Laura Martin and a whole bunch of others can really, they know how to do it, but there's a lot of other ones that don't quite grasp light sources and such. So we're getting more of that. Well, did I jump ahead already? Let's see, I gotta see. Hang on there. Everybody. Okay. already got that page. Sorry, gang. I let you down. Okay. There. Whoop. That's really cool. Like I said, the airbrush is just, to me, it's another thing. It's another style, but I'm not totally opposed to it. And more Michael Golden. Inked by who? Who's inking this thing? Oh, it's also Bob McLeod. And, whee! Here we go. They end up in Duck World, Howard's home planet. And he's happy, but he's feeling bad for her. And he's having a hard time readjusting back into... the cashier here at this shop is like, take what you can, blah, blah, blah. I must be going crazy. I thought I saw a giant hairless ape peering into my shop. In other words, at Beverly. That's hairless apes is what Howard called every human. And I just thought that was amusing. So, you got all this golden beauty here. And what it's interesting is it's in halftones. It's almost like animation. And that's a lot of airbrushing. There's airbrushing and there's water color, but some of that stuff, like that hair is pretty cool. But again, I don't think it's the best match. But me looks like one of my dogs. Okay. Yeah, that rim lighting's interesting. A duck on a horseback, or is that a donkey? I don't know. It's just, well, and also here, Truman Capultry. Manlow's trying to get like the absurdist angle that Gerber had, but it's just not as strong. There's more puns than there are actual things that make it funny. Like Gerber, he played it straight basically, but he had the absurdist elements, as I said before. Okay, that's there she is. There, Beverly, his one true love. Just all kind. And Gold's just such a master storyteller. Oh, I already showed that page. Damn it. Break for commercial. And that is I guess a white airbrush effect. And that's it for now. Then it goes, wait, is this still him? Chapter 5. Oh, it's still him. Okay. Like that double lighting is kind of odd. I mean, it looks positive. There's Uncle Scrooge McDrake. And again, there's a lot of that kind of stuff. And Gerber didn't rely on puns. And I love Bill Mantlo. Everything he wrote, I thoroughly enjoyed. I was never disappointed, except he couldn't get the hang of Howard. And I don't think any other writer could get the hang of Howard. They had some fill-in issues in the 80s. Not fill-ins, but one-shots. Mostly to keep the copyright to Howard the Duck. Now, and also what hurt Howard the Duck was that god-awful 1986 movie, and do not defend that fucking movie. It's awful. It's dreadful. It set the character back almost forever as far as a steady comic being published anywhere. My wife, who is not a comic reader, she says to me, what's the deal with Howard the Duck? I mean, like, she can understand the other characters, Marvel characters, but she can't understand the popularity. And it's based on middle-aged guys like me who read that stuff. That's a pretty cool effect. But I don't know how much Golden worked with Bob on this stuff, because there's times it seems like there's cross purposes, and there's other times I think it blends beautifully. And they're back on our Earth, and she's thrilled, and behind him is Man-Thing, who Golden did an issue of Micronauts that was just out of this world. So that's it for that. This is one part of a two-part Howard the Duck episode, and I hope you enjoy. And if you have any comments below, please share your comments. If you choose to defend that Howard the Duck movie, put your comments down here. I don't delete any comments. I may politely dispute, not insult. Everybody has their own preference. And please hit like and subscribe. Like helps a lot because I'm basically floating in the algorithm space-time continuum where almost nobody can find my channel. Anyway, I'll be back soon with another Howard the Duck episode, and if you like this, tell your friends. See you, bye.